Shalom. Welcome back. First and foremost, I want to give all glory, praises, and honors to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai. I want to give double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and salutations to your Akim pushing his word, sincerity, and in truth. Back with another lesson. Today's lesson is going to be covering this article I came across, CBS News. It says Chicago Teachers Union President Stacey Davis Gates urges Chicago public schools to borrow to avoid spending cuts. All right, and what made me want to elaborate on this article is basically the U.S. right Mystery Babylon. It's built on falsehoods, man. It's built on debt. All right, and that has basically trickled down to everyone's mindset, right? Because when you go into this article, which I'm going to start reading, it says Chicago Teachers Union President Stacey Davis Gates on Monday called again for Chicago public schools to borrow money to address a $529 million budget deficit. And this is the school system in Chicago. Speaking at the City Club of Chicago, Gates said the Chicago Board of Education should take out a loan to avoid cuts. And that's the American way, man. It's all a house of cards. It's all a house of cards. Borrowing from somebody else to pay somebody else. And when you really think about the whole money system, it's all based on debt, right? So the first scripture I'm going to grab is in the book of Habakkuk, chapter 2, verse 6. Right? Now this is speaking about the proud man Esau Edom and his system. It was years ago when the Apostle Tahar brought out the meaning of this word in this verse. But let me read it first. Habakkuk 2 and 6. Shall not all these things take up a parable against him, and a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his? How long? And to him that ladeth himself in thick clay. Because all these things you see around you is built on, like I said, debt, bullshit, promissory notes. All right, real value, wealth, so you can understand, land, cattle, right, gold, silver, things like that. That's real money. That's real treasure. But in this system, it's been built on basically promises, which is what the American dollar is, a promissory note. And when you go into the Hebrew in Habakkuk 2 and 6, and we get that word thick clay. Salakia. I had it pulled up. Yeah, weight of pledges, heavy debts. Right? Basically, Abatiyat. When it says laden himself in thick clay. And what do you see the overarching message right now in Mystery Babylon? The debt clock, the deficit, trillions of dollars they owe, right? So this is going to be one of the many reasons that's going to bring the demise of this place, but also bringing a new system, all right? And just this article dealing with here in Chicago,
saying the state's own formula says CPS $1 million more each year. Money on.
But anyway, they're asking for loans so they don't have to make any cuts. And like I said, all these things is just telling you that this is an unsustainable system, man. This is very unsustainable. So eventually, these people are going to lose their jobs. Schools are going to shut down more than they're already shut down, and we're going to go into a new system, an austerity type system, man. All right. And the only way you're going to be able to get resources in the future is going to be having that mark of the beast. That's where all roads eventually will lead. Right? So let's grab a couple more scriptures. Let's grab Proverbs 22 and 7. The rich ruleth over the poor, and the borrower is servant to the lender. This is a borrower based system, man. All right. It's not it's a system where you gotta constantly pay out, man. Subject to payments, as the scriptures say. Constantly give, constantly pay out, constantly get loans to acquire things. That's how this entire system is built. All right, and it's a nightmare of a system. But even down to the schools, it's how it's set up. All right, which is telling you that it's not sustainable. The growth is not sustainable. That's why you're gonna have that economic collapse come to head. From there, let's get Proverbs 22 and 26. It says, "Be not thou one of them that strike hands, or them that are sureties for debts." Right? "If thou hast nothing to pay, why should he take away thy bed from under thee?" Right? So eventually, the system is going to acquire you. You're going to have to pledge yourself, almost like you go back to the story of Joseph in Egypt, how everybody else was broke, everybody was poor, and they gave themselves over into bondage, into slavery, right? Just to have food and water, right? And that's this new system that's coming, man, with the mark of the beast. Everything is going to be digitalized, and to be a part of this system, you're going to have to take that mark, all right, to be able to receive certain benefits within this system, man. Okay? But that was the main reason for bringing out this article. It's because this place is absolutely cooked. I'm gonna read a little bit more of it. It says Davis Gates also said more needs to be done to persuade lawmakers in Springfield to provide CPS more money, arguing the state's education funding formula calls the district to receive $1.2 billion more each year. So it always goes up, because the more money you add to the pot, the more debt you put into the circulation. Guess what? You lose your buying power. You lose your purchasing power. That's why everything costs so exponentially more money today than it did 25 years ago. All right? Than it did 8 years ago, 5 years ago. This is insanity. And like I said, I always push, this is very unsustainable, man. Extremely unsustainable. But that's the point. I just want to touch on this article because we have to hold tight, man. We don't got long. Things are popping off. Scriptures and prophecies are playing out. So, be excited and know that the kingdom of heaven is at hand, man. All right? I want to give all glory, praises, and honors to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai. Shalom the next time.